I am a nature hacker, and this is your world. Today I want to talk about the interest rate and what is good and what is bad. And we have a lot of people even like Peter Schiff, who are saying, oh, high interest rates are good, or the real world thing, and that low interest rates are bad. So lowering the interest rate is just going to put off the problem till later on. I don't really see things that way. The way I see the interest rate is the banksters, a group of banksters who take a certain percentage of all the money. So they put out $100, and they take out, let's say the interest rate is 2%. They give out $100. They take out, how about, let's put it like this. They give out $98 and they require back $100. Okay, so they give out 98 and they require back 100. So, so if you've read about the Fed and how debt money system works, that $2 is nowhere to be found. Nobody has that $2 to give the Fed back. The extra $2 the Fed never even made. So what happens is somebody else has to take out more money so that the first person can pay back the $2, and now the second person who took out money, now he owes an extra $3 or whatever. So it just the debt keeps getting bigger and bigger, and there's not enough money to pay back the Fed. So 0% interest rates is better, because then the Fed gives out $100 and it requires back $100. So now there's actually nobody's going to go bankrupt. If the rate is 0 from the beginning, nobody will go bankrupt, because there will always be enough money to pay back the loans. Unless people start hoarding the money, and then there can be problems. People can go bankrupt. But there is enough money out there to pay back the debt. So that's good for us, for people, for everyone. 0% interest rates means that there's no leech out there stealing. But there still is a leech, and that is the banks. Like, let's say the Fed interest rate is 2%, then the banks will tack on another 2%. So then for you, it's 4% to borrow money. So the bank is, in essence, so even if the rate, let's say the Fed rate is 0%, now the Fed isn't the one who's making an unpayable debt, but now what the banks is, the bank's like, well, you have to go through us, and it's still going to be 2% interest. So there really is 2% of the money that doesn't exist, that is still owed back to the bank. So so that's an issue. But in that case, the bank has the money, so the money still exists. The money does exist. It's just going into bank employees' pockets. CEOs, whatever. It's going into their pockets. So the money is still out in society. So that's okay. That is okay. That so it's not like the debt is unpayable. It is payable because the money's out there. So that's okay. But now if the Fed does negative interest rates, that would be even better, because then it's like the banks can live for free without having to take money from us. So they can lend us money at 0%, and then the Fed pays them 2% of new money. So it's like, not only is there enough money out there to pay off all the debts, but there's extra money to pay off previous debts. So it's like we're not creating any new unpayable debts, but also with a negative interest rate, we're getting rid of previous unpaid debts. So the national debt would actually be able to go down with a negative interest rate. So that's important. So I think that is really actually good. Now, I'm going to also propose that raising the interest rates will be good. In the short term, raising the interest rates will be good, I think, because let me first, so we talked all about that and how negative interest rates is good. Now we need to make a quick little connection here, and that connection is that the interest rate is equal to the bankruptcy rate. Now, if the interest rate is 2%, that means that 2% of all the money doesn't exist that is owed back. So what that means is that 2% of all businesses will go bankrupt every year, because 2% of the money doesn't exist. 2% of the businesses who borrowed the money won't be able to pay it. So on average, all in all, 2% bankruptcy rate. So a 2% interest rate is a 2% bankruptcy rate. A 0% interest rate is a 0% bankruptcy rate. A negative 2% interest is a negative 2% bankruptcy rate. So that's important. But bankruptcy isn't always bad. Now, here's the thing. The companies who are actually borrowing the money are the ones who are going to go bankrupt. Like, let's say a person like me who has no debt, who is running their own business, I can't really go bankrupt unless I borrow money, because I have nobody to pay. I have nobody to pay back, so I would never have to go bankrupt to prevent me from paying back someone. So good businesses, small businesses that have little to no debt, are not going to be the ones going bankrupt. So if right now you got companies like McDonald's, big companies that are really on the brink of death, these are the companies who have huge credit lines. These are the companies who have massive debt. If the interest rate goes up, which means the bankruptcy rate will go up, those big companies might just be the ones that get selectively destroyed. So I think either way, whether the Fed raises interest rates or lowers interest rates at this point in the short term would be good. I mean, obviously, the lower the interest rates, the better the real life is going to be. The less oppression we have as people. The lower the interest rate, the less oppression we have. But, strategically, if they do raise interest rates right now, I think the big businesses are going to be the ones that fail. And those are the ones we want to fail. We want small businesses to survive, because they're the best at meeting customer needs and desires. The big businesses basically have to brainwash people to use their crappy products. So that's where we're at. So I don't think we need to worry too much about what the Fed does. If they raise it, look and see and hope that these big businesses are going to fail. If they lower it, if they go negative, then you can really rejoice and say, you know what? I don't have a problem with making money, because I know that me making money is not preventing someone else from paying their debt. There's enough money to go around, so me being in the picture doesn't force someone else into bankruptcy. So that's what negative interest rates would be. Negative interest rates will be like, you can feel good knowing that you can make money and that nobody else is going to suffer from you making money. So I hope that makes sense. Definitely hope for the negative interest rates, but hopefully, even if there is a hike in the interest rates, that we will see big corporations finally fall. I am the Nature Hacker. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to do work.